The Mandanas-Garcia ruling calls for the strict observance of the Local Government Code of 1991. In response, the national government, through the Office of the President, issued Order Number 138 to implement the stalled devolution. The implementation of full devolution, however, creates a demand for more, if not new, updated data and information. So the question is, where will the LGUs generate such data and information? And how? I am Jay Carizo, a local governance and data specialist, and your learning companion in this module. This module is about understanding and maximizing the community-based monitoring system, also popularly known as CBMS. The session is divided into 4 parts. The first will be a presentation of the session objectives. The second is about understanding the CBMS and its history, and then the salient features of the CBMS Act or Republic Act 1131-5, and lastly, the uses and applications of CBMS. The session has 2 objectives. The first is to appreciate the CBMS and the CBMS Act, and second is to gain insights on how the CBMS generated data can be used by the local government units as they deliver effective, efficient, and properly targeted social services and public goods. So what is CBMS? According to Section 3 of Republic Act 1131-5, CBMS is an organized technology-based system of collecting, processing, and validating necessary disaggregated data that may be used for planning, program implementation, and impact monitoring at the local level, while empowering communities to participate in the process. So note that this involves the whole gamut of data cycle, from the collection to the utilization of data. CBMS also involves the generation of data at the local level, which serves as a basis in targeting households in the planning, budgeting, and implementation of government programs geared towards poverty alleviation and economic development. As of March 17, 2021, CBMS has been implemented in 78 provinces, 1,115 municipalities, and 114 cities. This covers 31,519 barangays. And the implementation can be through the CBMS app track, that is the use of gadgets for data gathering, such as the computer tablets, and the CBMS paper track, or the use of paper and pen for data capture. The CBMS started in 1994 when it was introduced under the MIMAP, or the Micro Impacts of Macroeconomic Adjustment Policies project. It was pilot tested in 1995 in 2 barangays in Pandi, Bulacan. In 2002, realizing the usefulness of CBMS data, the National Anti-Poverty Commission issued NBank Resolution Number 7, which adopts CBMS. The next year, the DILG followed suit and issued Memorandum Circular Number 2003-92. From then onwards, a number of circulars and department orders were issued regarding the implementation of CBMS. However, though more LGUs were encouraged to implement CBMS, there were bottlenecks. In a study conducted by the National Anti-Poverty Commission, the bottlenecks usually fall on the encoding part of the collected data, and that is the transfer of the data from paper to digital data or digitized data. So the next year, in 2013, the National Anti-Poverty Commission introduced the Rapid CBMS. Rapid CBMS simply uses technology such as smartphones or tablets for data collection. In 2014, the Angelo King Institute, the primary developer of CBMS, and the DILG also introduced the CBMS app. That is the use of computer tablets for data capture. So more and more LGUs were encouraged to implement CBMS. However, full implementation is not possible because there are also LGUs that are resource constrained. Hence, in 2019, CBMS Act was signed into law, and this was called as the Republic Act 1131-5, or an act establishing a community-based monitoring system and appropriating funds therefore. So what are the salient features of the CBMS Act? First, it institutionalizes the CBMS as a social tool for poverty alleviation and development. Earlier, LGUs are only enjoined to implement CBMS, so it was not mandatory. But under the Act, it became a designated statistical activity to be conducted nationwide and every 3 years. Third is the creation of the CBMS Council, which will oversee the implementation of the CBMS all around the country. The council is composed of the Philippine Statistics Authority, or the PSA, the DILG, and the Department of Information and Communications Technology. PSA was also designated as the lead agency in the CBMS implementation, with the city and municipal LGUs as the primary data collecting authority within their respective jurisdictions. Next, the CBMS Act established the CBMS National Data Bank, and this is to be managed by the PSA. Earlier, the national repositories of data are the AKI, the DILG, and the NAPSI. But this time, this will be the domain of the PSA in cooperation with the Department of Information and Communications Technology. Also, the Act mandates the creation of the position for city or municipal statisticians, which will manage and process CBMS data. For the PSA, additional positions were also created. Also, capacity building through the Philippine Statistical Training and Research Institute was mandated, and this is in collaboration with state universities and colleges, the DILG, and other government agencies. Earlier, PSRTI and SUCs were not involved. Also, the CBMS Act mandates the creation of the Congressional CBMS Oversight Committee, which is tasked to set the framework for the review of the CBMS Act and regularly review the law at least every 5 years. So what are the uses and applications of CBMS? According to Director Manuel Gotis of DILG, CBMS is an instrument for local governance, being vital for various local government processes. It enriches, if not fills the gap, of existing databases both at the national and local levels. Periodically, the national government conducts the census of population. However, the data being collected is only limited, though it ensures that all households are enumerated. However, with the limited data or information being gathered, it is impossible to develop programs to identify beneficiaries and understand their socio-economic and demographic profiles. So it's very limited. And those that conduct more thorough or with a greater number of data points are surveys like the family income and expenditure surveys, but sample sizes are also small. Earlier, the sample size for the FIES is only 75,000, though it was later increased to 180,000 in 2021. But even then, it will be difficult to understand local level, particularly at the municipal and city level situation. So there's a need to extrapolate more information based on the limited information, because the smaller the sample size, the greater the margin of error. Generally, surveys include only around 1,200 respondents, but that is for the national and at most major regional groupings. So the gap that is present can be filled by the CBMS, because CBMS is an enumeration of all the households in the municipality and covers at least 14 indicators, which we will be presenting later. Second, or next, CBMS provides data and information which can be used for evidence-based legislation and policy making, development planning, and budgeting. For example, Dr. Celia Reyes and her colleagues tried to count the data that can be supplied for at least 3 documents being produced by the LGUs. These are the ecological profile, the comprehensive development plan, and the gender and development plan. They found out that around 56% of the ecological profile indicators can be supplied by the CBMS data. Similarly, 26.3% of the indicators in the comprehensive development plan can be found in the CBMS, and 24.6% of the GAD indicators are also available in the CBMS. Next, CBMS enhances the preparation of socioeconomic profiles, development and investment plans, climate change adaptation, and disaster risk reduction plans. The Mulanay LGU, for instance, in the province of Quezon, was able to integrate CBMS data into the hazard maps that they were able to acquire from the Project NOAA. So here on your left, you can see the hazard areas susceptible to storm surge and the counting of households that are affected. While on the right, you can see the poor households affected by flood-prone areas in Linapacan, Palawan. So the yellow to red areas are flood-prone areas, while the dots represent the poor households. CBMS can also be used for resource allocation and program targeting. It improves the allocation of resources by making it easier to prioritize interventions based on local poverty diagnosis. For example, in the case of Linapacan, they were able to identify the households that are flood-prone. And from there, they were able to develop programs that can be beneficial to these households. It also increases equity in resource allocation between communities and households, as well as between men and women. And we can add among indigenous peoples also. In this map, we can see the map of the LGU of Bongao, the households in the area with the red pins representing the indigenous people. Because of CBMS, they were able to find, the local government unit officials were able to find that 78% of the indigenous people, mainly the Abajaus, were not registered with the civil registry office. As a result, these IPs lack identification documents. And the problem is because of the lack of identification documents, they could not access government services. So, because of that information from the CBMS, the local government unit intervened and organized the birth registration program. The result of this program not only enabled the IPs to secure identification cards, but also access to PhilHealth, Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino program, and other programs. So it's a simple problem with a simple solution and yet a big impact. CBMS also serves as inputs to poverty mapping, particularly beneficiary targeting and identification of basic services and public goods that are being accessed and the gaps. And of course, impact monitoring of projects and programs, thus contributing to poverty reduction efforts. Lastly, CBMS empowers communities by building their capacities to participate in diagnosing the problem, offering solutions, and monitoring the impact of these solutions. Among the activities of CBMS is not just household data enumeration, but also gathering of barangay data and community validations. In these community validations, the people participate not only to verify the household data that were collected, but also provide them a platform for capacity building to be able to understand, diagnose, and offer solutions to the problems of their communities. So that's why CBMS is also an empowering tool and not just a data gathering or monitoring tool. And of course, the last one is that CBMS is also a tool for localizing and monitoring SDGs. Data availability and granularity pose challenges in analyzing trends of Sustainable Development Goal performance monitoring, and this can be addressed by CBMS. For example, 58% of the indicators, 58% of the data for the SDG 1 indicators are available in the CBMS. And so with the rest of the Sustainable Development Goals, except for the SDG number 12, which is responsible consumption and production, life below water, SDG 14, and life on land, SDG 14. The rest can be provided, the data for the indicators can be provided by the CBMS. The challenge now is Given that the CBMS Act is here to stay, what do you think should be done to make CBMS implementation more fun and lighter without sacrificing the data to be gathered? Second, maybe we should also think about other innovative ways to maximize the benefits from CBMS data and implementation. Thank you very much and good day.